This is your revised script, with only the grammatical errors rectified and no alterations made to its length or meaning. It should come as no surprise that Nvidia in particular is receiving a lot of attention, Carter, especially after several hyperscalers released, confirmed, or increased their forecast for capital expenditures on AI in particular. Armchair technicians will recall June 20th as a pivotal day for Nvidia in terms of reaching a new high and then closing on the lows on extremely heavy volume, even though the fundamentals appear to remain intact. Carter, do you think that day will be remembered as a turning point in our history as a true technician? Because the sell-off that we've been seeing since the beginning of July actually did kind of precede it. Indeed, they are crucial reversal days and they do occur. You're citing it precisely right, on lows. Additionally, there was a market low in October 2022. What it signifies is a crescendo, either panic buying in this instance or panic selling, which occurs after selling. Something keeps getting higher and higher, until eventually nobody is left. Then, intraday, it falls down and down, almost like a youngster dropping from the chin-up bar fatigued, with no buyers remaining. We are down significantly, Nvidia is down, and semis are down almost 25% overall. We're still so far down that it would take a lot to recover those losses, but in many respects, what Nvidia says would boost the bulls. In terms of the market, I believe that the year's highs are in. I believe that earnings, the upcoming AI reassessment, the fact that Nvidia is 25% lower than its peak, and the fact that one of the market's major, exciting sources of energy received a haircut at the same time, all of which contribute to the current state of affairs. As you can see, the S&P's lows this week are just above 5,100, which is a few percentage points higher than where we were at the April lows following that decline. The gain so far this year is still quite healthy. We still appear to be at the top end of the spectrum. Since you haven't yet experienced your entire 10% setback, I believe you nearly had it in the S&P after all. Thus, once more, it falls inside the typical range. However, it didn't happen in a typical manner, and I believe that's what's making people nervous. I believe that the worldwide market movement from overnight till Monday's open will have a slight half-life in terms of people being reluctant to take on risk again. Welcome back. This morning's new reading from the chips, Taiwan Semi's July revenue increased by 45% over the previous year. The company's AI chips were in high demand, which is why, although it's a significant outperformer for the year, shares are fluctuating along the flat line here. Naturally, one of their most important clients is Nvidia, whose stock has been slashed this week. The corporation just had its greatest day of the month, but since mid-June, when it was at its peak, its market capitalization has dropped by around $1 trillion. Let's discuss that name and many other semis in more detail. Stacy Raskin from Bernstein is now joining us. It's always nice to have you around, Stacy. Let's just start with Nvidia. Let me know what you think about some of the headlines this week on the delays, which may be related to Blackwell's design. What will it imply, and is it real? Yes, it appears to be enough real. There is some fire there, and there is plenty smoke. Other supply chain participants have provided us with some confirmation. Since Supermicro hinted about it, it appears to be real. It seems minor, doesn't it? It appears to be a small design flaw. It appears like they may have already resolved the issue. There may be a 2 to 3 month wait. What that actually means, in my opinion, is that although some had hoped that actual volume shipments would occur in calendar Q4, it appears that they might occur in Q1. It's a little push out then. You must keep in mind that this stuff is challenging. Even Nvidia is susceptible to it after all. However, in the meanwhile, we have seen hyperscale capital expenditure guides that continue to rise. All of those would have taken into account whatever is happening. The fresh story isn't the only reason they learned about it now. They would have included it, and there is a high demand for Nvidia's current Hopper architecture. In an attempt to backfill and even things out until Blackwell really launches in greater capacity, perhaps a quarter later, it appears that they are probably expanding manufacturing of that. However, I don't believe it's a major structural problem. In terms of sentiment, the stock has obviously been affected. Two aspects in my opinion. First, sentiment in the AI community as a whole has generally decreased. People are only now beginning to question where the return on investment is coming from the large sums of money being spent. Therefore, it wasn't quite as encouraging as it had been. It weights more when you have this on top of it. That's what's been happening, I suppose, although I'm not sure if Nvidia has changed much structurally. Although we had a slight push-out, I believe everything will work out. Okay, right. As you say, demand is still there, so demand is demand. But what about the multiple and the stock itself, and what have we observed about them? From the viewpoint of someone like you, does that, I suppose, make it even more compelling? You see, Nvidia has never been very costly. It was around 40 times projected profits even at its height, and the sell-side forward projection that it is predicated on is probably still too low. It's actually not too pricey because 40 times is around its 5-year median or 5-year average. It is now less expensive. Probably 30 times now. Yes, I do believe that you de-risk it somewhat as you move into the second half. On the basis of this, everyone is somewhat aware of any delays that may be announced or confirmed during the call at this time. So yes, we can resolve this. Demand appears to be very strong. Pushing volume into the following year really improves the appearance of that year. More positive numbers, perhaps. This valuation, in my opinion, is still very appealing. We'd have been seeing reports regarding the Blackwell chip delay and the possible implications for some of those clients, including Microsoft, Google, and Meta. How's that tail going for you? Do you believe this will make a difference? In my opinion, Nvidia may have a delay in the release of the Blackwell series processor. It might take up to 90 days, but in the meanwhile, I believe their technology is so advanced that no one will enter the market and take market share. It is therefore theirs to take. Since they are the most crucial link in the AI supply chain, I believe that their revenues will just be delayed for a quarter or two. This will undoubtedly affect the development of AI infrastructure for some of those hyperscalers, as we refer to them in the US. The 4 large corporations that are investing billions upon billions on their AI infrastructure. I am aware that Sam brought up this point, and she brought up the hoopla around AI. In general, you are bullish on technology, but to be more precise, do you believe that pressure will increase to the downside if an activist fund manager with the stature of Elliott Management claims that AI is overhyped and that these equities are overbought? I believe that we must differentiate between what I refer to as AI 1.0 and AI 2.0. I still feel very at ease using AI 1.0. These are the names of the companies that build infrastructure, usually semiconductors, data networking, and data servers. Now, on their recent conference calls, the 4 hyperscalers pledged, well, no one makes promises, that they would invest a total of $227 billion on AI infrastructure over the course of the next 12 months. They also claim that their capital expenditures will increase from that extremely high base in the next year, so I don't think they're going to alter those projections. I like all of those stocks then. The AI 2.0 stocks follow, and I'm still not convinced. Therefore, I don't have any. These are the businesses that assert that they will have amazing revenue-generating items with AI on the other side of all the infrastructure construction expenditures. When I see it, I'll believe it. However, I only need the AI 1.0 stocks to support my thesis. I don't now require the AI 2.0 stocks. While maintaining the script's length and meaning, all grammatical adjustments have been made.